picked. We'll start with the forwards, and you can cast an eye here. So Ian Henderson is out with COVID. James Ryan comes out of the team, and we'll see Ryan Baird is in alongside Tyke Byrne. So that catches the eye for one thing.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for Ryan Baird. He's very talented. I still think it's, I'd love to have seen Henderson back. James Ryan, picked up a knock during the week. It's a shame, because I think I would have loved to have seen closest to the pack that'll start against England. Peter O'Mahony comes in and captains the side. Jack Conan is a little bit unfortunate, I think, to lose out, but I think O'Mahony comes in because of that line-out experience and that option as well, because they're a little bit, Henderson and Ryan would have traditionally called the line-outs. The front row, Porter and Furlong, they're world-class players, I think, and one area, the scrum wasn't rock solid once or twice against France, but and Dan Sheehan, starting a game, I think he's incredibly abrasive. So it's a really good forward pack, a little bit lighter than what you would expect and what you would hope for in the second row. Obviously, Tyke Byrne, I think his form this year has been, for the last couple of seasons, has been outstanding.
What do you think is the best Irish second row? Or does Byrne go into the back row, or how does all this work?
You're getting in a position now of when we won a Grand Slam a few years ago, it was Henderson and James Ryan, and I think they were probably the first two that you'd be picking until Tyke Byrne comes on the scene the last couple of seasons, and Ryan, it kind of mixes that up. Now you're probably thinking Byrne is the one that needs to start. You could put him in the back row, and I'd be tempted, in a sense, to do that against England if you could get Henderson in there. James Ryan hasn't hit the same heights as he has a couple of years ago, which is understandable in a way, because when he came on the scene first with Leinster, with Ireland, phenomenal level of performance. Nearly man of the match performances every time he played. He's had trouble with injuries and a few setbacks, and trying to get a consistency of run of games. He's still a top class player that can only get better. So it's an interesting one, what they'll do around that. I think Byrne has to be in the team, so you either start him in the second or put him in the back row.
What would you do?
I'd be tempted against England, just with that physicality.
Put him in the back row.
I think Henderson possibly has to get into the team. And then you're starting to debate whether it's Byrne and Henderson in the second row, which is, it's a really competitive area for them.
I agree with you, Alan, but the point is, and I'll come to the question, but it's given the selectors flexibility, and that's huge. They can choose that. And I agree with Quinny. Against England, they've got Courtney Laws at 6. I'd be playing Byrne at 6, Henderson and Ryan, and maybe this is the one where Doris goes to the back row. Goes to the bench and becomes a back row substitution in there with Conan and Josh van der Vlier. I mean, that gives you a lot more bulk around the park, which you need against England. Now, if you come against another side when they play Scotland, you might need that. You might put Byrne in the second row and Henderson back.
Usually against England, you're not dropped. There's always going to be a bit of rotation.
Yeah.
So Jack Conan, I don't think, is dropped out of the side.
No.
I still think his level of performance in the last 12 months has been incredible for this team. And there's a lot of variety, a lot of things you can do in the back row. But we're just not rock solid sure of what's the best second row at the moment.
Well, Quinny, can I say I love that selection? And I think that's a selection that's been missing from Irish rugby for many, many years, because that's a selection not about the Six Nations. That's a selection for the World Cup. And we need another. Now, Italy only ranked 14, are they 12 or 14? 12, I think they are. So they're not a top-tier nation. We need to say, maybe not that many changes, but one of the New Zealand tests would be great to have a few others in there.
OK, let's have a look at the backs before clock comes against us. Matt, so you can talk us through here the changes.
Yeah, and again, I love this. Gibson Park playing really well. Keep him in there. Joey Carberry must start again. I think that's brilliant. Get him another 2 weeks in a row. Gets to start, gets to run the side. Robbie Henshaw, the best inside setter in the world last summer. Brilliant. Had a lot of injuries. Bring him back in, give him time, give Bundyaki a rest. And then this really different back three. James Lowe must come in with that big left boot. I think he's a starter. But let's move Mac Hansen out wide. So he's got two wingers that get off their wings and want to be involved as blind wingers coming in, playing like extra ball distributors. And Lowry, what happens if Quinlan falls over? Lowry's got no time. It's great he's got time. And I think the bench is a great selection as well.
Yeah, we might get a look at the bench here in just a moment.
Anytime it comes up. But the beauty again is there's guys on this bench, Quinny.
There we go.
That you know, look at Hume there, Casey coming in. I think that's really, really good. You've got Sexton there to steady it, and then that Treadwell coming in as well. It's a really exciting opportunity for all these young players.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's an important one that, you know, someone like Kieran Treadwell may get on and get some time. But I think going back to the starting team, we're talking about James Ryan, Henderson, Tyg Byrne. But I think this is a great opportunity for Ryan Baird as well.
Yeah.
For him to develop and kind of put his hand up and say, hold on a minute, I'm here, I want to be part of this team as well, with a view to the World Cup. So it is an exciting selection and Michael Lowry at full back. He's incredibly exciting and deserves his shot.
He does, yeah.
Exciting back three.
Hugo Keenan's played the last 18 in a row, so time maybe for someone else to get a run.
Yep.